The holidays can throw off routines, which can be unsettling for kids. So let's talk about why maintaining some structure is key. As a child therapist, people are often surprised that children show more disruptive behaviors or more difficulties during holiday seasons or during vacations from school or vacations where they actually get to go somewhere. People are confused that kids are able to relax more, but somehow this causes them to show more disruptive behaviors. But I can tell you that it's actually a pretty predictable pattern. And the predictable pattern is that anytime the predictable patterns for children are thrown off, you can see some pretty unpredictable things coming from children. And that's because disrupted routines make our brains feel like they've lost predictability. And that feeling is unsafe. Really, what it comes down to is that routines help the brain to build predictable patterns. And those predictable patterns provide a sense of security and safety. I often have to remind parents and teachers and other caregivers, as well as children and other clients that I have, that the brain is not really concerned with you being happy. The brain is concerned with you staying alive. Predictable patterns that are set through routines build a framework so that the brain knows it's going to stay alive in this routine. It knows what to expect, how to prepare for that thing, what to do if something, even a little thing, gets thrown off a bit in that routine. Those routines really build in that predictability, and that predictability is very secure and safe. There are lots of books and movies and songs all about this, that people often talk about how they want more spontaneity. But really what they want is predictable spontaneity. You've all seen the TV shows or a movie or read a book about someone who has a surprise party thrown and they hate having a surprise party. So it can be that there's this big exciting thing going on that's celebrating this person, but because it was so unpredictable and it was so unexpected, it actually creates more discomfort than it does create excitement. Anytime those routines are thrown off for children, it causes some difficulty. So there are some things that you can do around the holiday times, because around the holiday times, routines are often thrown out the window. People just don't follow anything at all. And then their children are feeling a lot of panic in their brains because their brains are wondering, what is it that's about to come? What do I need to get prepared for? How is it that that's going to go? I'm not sure if I can handle that. That's something I've never done before. That sounds really scary. And that creates more discomfort, which creates more stress. And you and I know the more stressed we are, the more likely it is that we're going to make some poor choices. Around the holidays, it's important to keep things as consistent and predictable as possible. That doesn't mean to set an alarm every single morning and wake the child up as if they're going to school. Sleeping in can be a great part of the holidays, but there are some things to try to keep as consistent as you possibly can. Bedtimes are one of those things. Around holidays, people will often let their children stay up as late as they possibly want, and then the later it gets, the more disruptive their child starts to behave, and people will become upset because it's like, I am letting you stay up later. Now I see that I can't trust you with this at all. So now you're going to go to bed earlier than normal, and they get thrown off by that. Again, around the holidays, it doesn't mean that if they go to bed at 7 o'clock every single night, that they have to go to bed at 7 o'clock every single night over the holiday season. But it does mean to try to keep it close to that, and to keep that pattern over the holidays as routine and predictable as possible. Don't make it be that one night it's 6 o'clock, the next night it's 9 o'clock, the next night it's 11 o'clock, the next night it's 8 o'clock, the next night it's 10 o'clock. The more that routine is thrown off within that thrown off routine creates more chaos in the brain, because the child's brain actually prepares them to get to sleep. If they're used to going to sleep at 7 and they're trying to stay up until 10, their brain is actually telling them it's time to go to bed. And I don't know about you, but when my brain starts to tell me it's time to go to bed, I need to go to bed, or else I'm going to get more frustrated more easily. I'm going to get stressed out more easily, and I'm going to make more poor choices more easily. The same is true if a child is used to going to bed later. If you move it up too much, their brain hasn't prepared them to go to sleep. So then their brain has some discomfort in it because it's saying, well, usually we have a lot more time to get ready for this, and now you're moving it way up. Try to keep those bedtimes as consistent as you possibly can, even over the holidays. Another one is meal schedules. This is one that, again, it's really easy to lose track of over the holidays, where kind of breakfast is when you wake up, lunch is when you ask for it, dinner is when we're all starving. But again, just like feeling tired, I don't know about you, but me, when I start to feel hungry, I need to get that taken care of, or there's going to be something pretty disruptive that's going to happen. If you can keep those meal schedules as consistent as possible, that doesn't mean to set a timer and when the timer goes off, it's immediately time to serve a meal. But it does mean to maybe try to keep the same number of meals in a day and try to have them around the same time that would be happening. Again, our brains and our bodies actually prepare us to go a certain period of time before our next meal. If that amount of time is disrupted, if it takes too long to get to the next meal, then the body will start to be like, whoa, what is going on? We are lacking some food. And that's where hangry comes from. Or if it becomes too close together, then the brain's like, well, I'm not really even ready for this. And does that mean that between this meal and the next meal is going to be even longer? Because that's a period that I could get hangry. Keeping those meal schedules as consistent as possible can really be helpful. And another thing to try to keep as routine as possible, even over the holidays, is downtime. This is one of those things that maybe is not part of your routine just yet. It may be that you feel like you are constantly rushing your child around to their next appointment or their next activity, and there's very little time for downtime. If that's you, I would really encourage you that it is time to build some downtime into your routine. Downtime and even boredom is necessary for children. It lets their brains relax, and downtime does not mean scrolling on screens. Downtime means chilling, maybe watching a movie, talking about something, doing some chill activity. Building in that downtime helps so much, and especially around the holidays, where there is a lot of stress. Even though it seems like it should be just all excitement, we know that's not the case. There is a lot of stress around the holidays. So the more you can build in consistent breaks for downtime, routine breaks, predictable breaks for you and your child, it will help your brain and their brain know, hey, I know that right now I'm feeling kind of tense, but a break is coming. It's going to be okay. Build that downtime in and try to keep that downtime as consistent as possible. That could mean that mornings kind of go slower. That it's not this rush to try to dash out the door, that, around the morning time, we're just going to kind of relax and chill. Maybe it's a device-free time. That doesn't mean no television or anything like that, but maybe it means phones and tablets and computers are put away, and it's just kind of a chill time to get the day going. And maybe, again, you do that at night, where maybe you read a story together or you're watching a movie together, but it's more of that chill downtime. If you can have those predictable periods where children know they're going to be able to relax, then they'll be able to deal with the stresses more. We do the exact same thing. I'm not sure about you, but at work, there are times where the morning can be a rush of things, but I know I've got lunch coming. And when lunch comes, that's my time. I get a predictable break. And because I know I've got that predictable break coming, I can kind of deal with anything that happened in the morning, even though I deal with some very, very intense situations as a therapist. The same is true in the afternoon. It might be that there are a lot of things going on with my clients, and there's a lot of chaotic behaviors and things that are really challenging for me to hear and learn about. but I know I've got the break coming at the end of the day. We can build that same thing in for children so that it might be stressful for a period of time, but they know their next break is coming and they'll be able to breathe a little easier and let a little of that stress out. But there are going to be times where routines are disrupted. And when that those routines are going to be disrupted, it's really just important to prepare your child ahead of time. Give them a heads up that bedtime is going to be a little different tonight, but remind them of the pieces that will be predictable surrounding surrounding bedtime. It could be something like, we're staying at grandma's, so bedtime will be a little later and you're going to be sleeping in a different bed, but we'll still read a story before bed. That lets them know, okay, here's the pieces that are going to be different, but here are the things that are going to be predictable and the same, and they can find their comfort and find their groove. Same with meals. Lunch is going to be a little bit later today. So if you need a snack, here are some options for a snack if you need it around our normal lunchtime. But just know that this is when the next meal is coming, and give them the heads up so that their brains can build that predictability into that disrupted routine. If you keep those routines as predictable as possible, your child's behavior will also become a little more predictable. Sure, with all the stress and all of the things that throw off routines, there will be some things that happen with children and with you. But the more predictable you can keep your routine, the more secure and safe your child's brain and your brain will feel, and you will be able to thrive. If this resonates with you, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment about how you keep routines steady during the holidays.